Hello and welcome to the DC UK podcast. This is season 4 and this is a bonus episode. I've been lucky enough recently to go out to Audi Field and actually interview in person a few of the guys from the club. You'll see a couple of those in the actual normal podcast, especially the one that we're going to be doing live from the Screaming Eagles tailgate. But I wanted to bring you this one as a bonus episode. The guy that we've had on it was the first guy from the club that we had on the podcast back in season 1, and it was actually super exciting and such an honour to be able to meet him in person. So let's go and check that out. Oh, welcome back to the show, Rory. How are you doing?
Thank you. Good. It's been what, a year? 2 years?
I think it's been a little bit longer than that. Because you were on the first season.
I feel like I was on very early.
I think you were,
and I haven't been invited back since then.
Well, you have now, obviously, but yeah, you were definitely. I think you were the first guest I had on. First person from DC United.
From the team, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it has been a while. It's actually nice to meet you in person.
Yeah, for sure. Welcome to DC.
Thank you very much.
I know you came a couple years ago. But
yeah, this is my 3rd time here now. So
nice. Great.
And this is literally a flying visit.
Yeah.
Got in Thursday and I'm going back on Sunday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Big pressure for us tomorrow to win this game.
Yes, I mean, let's put it this way. The previous 2 games that I've been to, we've not scored a goal.
Okay.
So we need to score at least a goal.
Right?
So the first game against Philly, we lost 2-0.
Yeah.
And then the second time, it was on my birthday as well. So I was hoping for a little birthday present. But, Wayne Rooney got suspended against LAFC. He got himself sent off.
Ooh, oh, yeah.
As I was flying in, so the game was happening, I was flying, I was like, cool, I'll get down, we'll see what we've done. So, and then Rooney got sent off. I was just like...
Yeah, that was tough. That was a tough game.
It was. But, yeah, 0-0 draw against Montreal. So we didn't lose that one.
Okay, well...
So... As I see it,
exactly.
It's getting better.
We're ticking up.
Yeah, and to be fair, Toronto have not kept a clean sheet. I was reading it earlier on today. I think it's like 23 games.
Wow.
And they've only kept 1 in the last 42.
Wow.
So we should score.
Okay, we should score.
To be fair, we did score 7 last year against them. So.
Yeah, different teams.
Obviously, yes, different teams, different coaches.
I'm still bitter about the game in March.
Really?
Not bitter, just we should have won that game. It was like there's no reason we should have lost that game.
No.
We watched film today of some highlights, good things and bad things, and man, we should have won. But that's okay.
It feels like that's happened quite a few times this season where we've played really well, but not come out on top. And the game midweek against New York.
Yeah.
And I caught the highlights because again that was the night before I flew, so I was like, I need a good night's sleep, so I'm not going to stay up for that one. But. Yeah, I think it was Brad Smith who hit the post, and I think Jafal
hit the post.
Yeah,
as well, yeah. It was created a lot of chances, and we looked pretty good in moments. And actually, in the second half when we were down, we actually looked very good too.
Yep.
But just couldn't put it away. We and obviously they're a championship team and they're a good team, and you can't give them little chances because they're going to put it away. And if you don't put your chances away, you're
exactly
a little bit screwed, right? So.
But the positive side is the fact that we did create a lot against a championship winning team.
For sure.
So,
for sure.
Yeah, if we keep doing that, we're going to get some good results this season.
I think that's been pretty common throughout our games. I can't think of a game right now that, off the top of my head this year at least, that we haven't been like that, haven't created chances, haven't been like positive and attacking. And obviously since Hernan came in last year and kind of changed our philosophy about that, Chad's continuing with that. Obviously changing it a little bit with his own style, but we're attacking. We want to create chances, and we're doing that. It's just that next final third, final ball, final finish. Is what we need to improve on.
Yeah, there was a little stat. Someone was telling me again earlier on today. Today or might have been yesterday, where we've won. We've turned over the ball most times in the attacking third in MLS this season.
Wow. Okay. Yeah,
so we I think it was an average of 8 times a match where we will win the ball back in their third, which is something.
It's
it's
a
good
the first
start.
Step, right?
Yeah.
The first step is when you play that high press. That's the first thing is you have to turn it over.
Yeah.
And then it's obviously what you do from there.
Exactly. But now we've got Taxi.
Yeah.
he's been phenomenal.
He's been really good. And honestly, the best part is he's like the best guy.
Yeah.
He's so nice. I know on Twitter everybody that kind of jokes about it. He's always smiling, always laughing. Like that is how he is all the time, which is just like a great, I don't know, thing for a player.
Yeah.
Obviously, of his caliber, DP, he's supposed to be like this big star, right? Which he is, of course.
Yeah.
But he's so humble. He's so nice, and just like you want to see him succeed, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to make sure he scores goals. And
is there a little bit of a bromance between him and Julian Gressel?
Because
and Russell as well, because I think Taxi speaks German, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So between the three of them,
it's going to be natural that you gravitate towards somebody who can speak the same language as you. But for sure, they're getting close and becoming good friends. It seems like so. Yeah. Again, nice to see, and with a guy like Taxi who's really nice and welcoming or wanting to be welcomed, and the guys that we have a good group. So. He's gelled immediately. Yeah,
and I've heard that his English is getting a little bit better.
A little bit. Yeah. We still, the classes are he's got to still go and he's got to still do his lessons, but slowly but surely he'll get there.
It's nice to know that he actually gets put through classes and actually it feels like he's going back to school again for it.
For sure. I mean that's part of my job, part of our job on the team up side is to. Take care of him, make sure him and his family are taken care of. Not only him, but Michael Estrada, same thing. His English is basically non-existent.
Fair enough.
So, that's just something we have to help him with. And it's, make sure he can do everything he can. Or make sure he has no worries off the field. Yeah. And that's part of the thing is English classes. So, obviously, the player has to go and has to want to do it, has to want to learn, and has to come from them, which it is.
Yeah. But I can imagine a lot of the stuff. Well, soccer's a universal language, so there's certain things that you're just going to know
for sure
what to say, and everyone recognises what you're trying to get across. So.
For sure. Certainly in trainings and in games and in meetings like that. Especially on the field, it's easy because you, like you said, it's one language you communicate with, body language or whatever. But obviously, you want to mesh a little bit those two things and make sure he can succeed on the field, but also off the field. Yes.
So in things like team talks, then I don't know whether you know, but obviously Chad speaks English. I don't know whether he speaks any other languages, but when he's doing things like team talks, how does that come across to those guys who don't speak English?
Yeah. So with our now Spanish-speaking coaching staff, with Nico and before Hernan, they would just do it in the middle of the meeting. They'd say, if they were talking about a forward doing something specific or Edison doing something specific on the wing, they'd say it in English, but then they'd say, hey, Edison, this is what you need to do in Spanish. Now it's just Nico on the side, Chad speaks and Nico kind of one-on-one translates, or myself, if I need to translate, I used to do it when nobody else spoke Spanish. That was my job, was translating for, a variety of players. Luciano was a big one.
Yeah.
Was, basically next to all the time.
Yep.
With Taxi, he can understand, again, a little bit more than Michael, the other guys. But Julian's always next to him saying, hey, again, if it's specific to him, you need to do this on this player, or on this corner, do this, right?
Yeah. So it's good to be able to actually get your message across and get that out there. But obviously, we've literally just gone into soccer talk there. But for those guys who don't know who you are, introduce yourself.
Yeah, okay. So, Rory Molleda, I'm the Director of Team Administration at the club. I've been around for a few years now. This is my 10th season, actually, which it's crazy.
I was going to say, are you celebrating your 10th year here in any way, shape, or form?
Nah, hopefully with a championship.
That would be nice.
That'd be nice, right? No, it's I'm very lucky to work here and lucky to be around, but I take care of all the flights, all of our meals, all of our hotel accommodations, everything travel related, and then relocating new players, getting them settled as we kind of discussed.
Yes, we previously
all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so.
Discussed. Obviously, you were quite involved with Wayne Rooney when he joined as well.
Yes.
So, those were good conversations back in the day.
For sure.
Yeah.
Those are some. We should have had a translator for him too, because.
Well, because of the Scouse accent.
Because of the Scouse, he'd have to speak slowly for you to really understand.
Yes.
And I got it after a little bit, but it took me a minute.
It does.
Definitely took me a minute. I had to really listen closely. I couldn't just be on my phone listening to him or his wife. They're very heavy accents.
Yes.
But no, those were good times. Good times.
Just be glad I am not doing this like 10 years ago, because I used to live in the northeast of England,
really?
which is quite a heavy, thick accent.
For sure.
Now that I've moved down to the southwest, and I'm obviously surrounded by southerners, and they've got a softer accent. Yeah, I don't have my northernness that much anymore until I've had a couple of beers. And it starts to come out again, so, which I actually have had a couple of beers this afternoon, so, there's some words that will come out.
No problem.
Yeah, so, it is
Where
what it is.
have you been so far?
So today, I was here this morning, lunchtime, and then I went to Blue Jacket.
Okay. Classic spot.
Very, very good. Very good. Half smoke I had.
Ooh, good.
And a couple of beers and a lot of water, because it is just ridiculous.
I'm sure it's not this bad in England.
No. Not at all. It rarely gets above 30.
I'm sure.
Well, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but yeah, it's ridiculously hot here right now.
Unfortunately, DC, not only does it get hot, but it's like really humid with the river.
That's
like,
the bit that is.
Like, even when it's not that hot, you just feel sticky and like you're sweating all the time.
You can tell the air is thick.
Yes, for sure.
So
I always my partner used to work on Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
Had to wear a suit every day. Almost every day. And I just think about those kind of people. Like, I'm so lucky that I get to wear soccer gear, training gear, every day, and I can
loose fitting,
and like not, nothing. Have to be outside. I'm comfortable. Like these guys in the July heat of 100 degrees with humidity, or walk around in suits and ties. Anyway, it's just miserable. But that's DC. That's how it is here.
And obviously for the game tomorrow against Toronto, it's supposed to be 96, I think it is. And obviously the game's being pushed back, so it's not going to be quite that hot.
It's
still going to be very hot.
Yeah, luckily, hopefully the sun will be a little further down. So that'll maybe help. But
yeah, and obviously the sun's going to be over that stand, which obviously you've got the things in the where there used to be nothing there.
Yeah.
So for the fans on this side of the stadium, it won't be as bad.
Yeah,
yeah. Yes.
Those are those like 4 p.m., 3 p.m. kickoffs on the bench when you're just like, oh, I can't say anything.
I mean, for me, that's great, because in the UK, that's like a 7, 8 o'clock kickoff, which is fantastic.
For sure, yeah. When you're back home, absolutely. Honestly, it's nice to be done early too, because like an 7:30, 8 p.m. game, I like it because I like kind of feeling that.
It's a little bit cooler.
Night, it's cooler.
Yeah.
But you're just as an employee, you're working late. As a fan, you get to go home. But
yes, but no, it's what is there any particular reason why we tend to have those nighttime kickoffs? Is it because there's obviously you've got the Nats playing, you've got other sports going on around the city?
That's definitely part of it, and I know like the Nats and us cannot have a game at the same time. Just like
is that because it's just because the crowds?
So close, traffic and parking and that kind of stuff. So whenever they play at like 1, like we'll always play at 7 or 7:30 or something late. I think it's partly because of the heat, number one. But also, in midweek, trying to get the fans out. After work, but also not too late that they can come because they have to get up early the next day. So that fine balance of timing is always tough, right? And we're lucky as a city in a place that we have so much going on and so many sports and so many things to do, but obviously then DC United is competing with all those things, right?
Exactly, because the Nats have done rather well recently.
For sure, well, I guess they just started kind of, but
the Wizards have been doing well, and obviously the ice hockey team, which is Capitals. I'm getting there.
There you go.
And now the Commanders. I'm not sure how do you feel about that team name?
The team name, I have to be honest, I'm not a big American football fan.
I
think it's kind of cool. I will say I liked the Washington football team better.
It sounds more legit.
It's more, as like a European, coming from somewhere that all the teams are named basically that. FC, football, whatever, club. It sounds a little more natural. But also in NFL, all the names are kind of gimmicky and like the Raiders, the Patriots, all these like kind of gimmicky mascots. The Washington football team was different and it was cool. I don't know. Anyway, I wish they would have kept along with it, but
MLS was like that as well with its funky names. I mean, obviously you've still got the Revolution and the Crew, but now you're getting Charlotte Football Club and St. Louis City and Nashville. This is like
United.
I mean, we were an original, so we were allowed
No, not us.
No.
Some other United.
That other team, the fake black and red.
Well, them too. There was two in 1 year.
Yeah.
Minnesota and Atlanta came in the same
Oh yeah,
year.
I forgot about Minnesota.
And,
And then you've got NYCFC.
yeah,
It's just like they're kind of the standard team now, rather than your funny ones. And now the Badgers aren't quite as out there.
But you almost wish there's certainly a community on in the fan base that kind of likes that and thinks that makes MLS different and makes it kind of unique to the world of soccer teams filled of FCs and CFs and soccer club SCs.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's like one that I'm
Or
I'm
the
not sure
SCs.
about. Yeah. Who's an SC? Orlando, I think.
But then saying that, soccer is an English term.
Yeah.
And it always
That's your
baffles.
fault, is what you're saying.
It is our fault. But then we're the ones who complain about it. Yet we have programs in the UK called Gillette Soccer Saturday
really?
and Soccer AM.
Okay.
Yet people don't complain about that. I'm like,
It's only people here, right?
and it's generally speaking, only people who call it soccer is generally over here in America.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, we've got those programs in the UK, and it's like,
There's no.
and then we complain about it. It's like, come on, let's get with the program. We're allowed to use soccer.
Yeah, it can be both, right?
Yeah, exactly. But have you been to see Old Glory, the rugby team, yet?
I haven't. I don't know if they play ever here. I don't think they.
They
will.
don't play
just
here
played
out. They
Segra,
played
yeah.
Segra. They're playing tomorrow.
I will say, okay.
I was hoping to
Are you
be able
gonna go out
to.
there?
I was hoping to get to a game because I'm a big rugby fan. I love
Okay.
it. And now that obviously we've got Major League Rugby, I've been quite interested and watched a few of the games online.
Okay.
Because they put it on the Rugby Network app and it's free to everyone, which is great.
Wow, that's great.
That's absolutely fantastic. So very accessible. And if I was here for the original time I was supposed to be here, which was supposed to be next Sunday, but unfortunately my son got chicken pox.
Oh no. Okay.
So I've had to short my trip because I'm the only one who's out here. My family aren't out here, so so there was the game tomorrow, but they're also playing next Saturday as well at Segra. So I was hoping to be able to go to that.
Game, yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But we're playing Houston tomorrow, so
Okay.
we'll see.
How many teams are in that league?
Ooh,
I
think it's about 8 or 10.
Okay.
It's a very small league.
Small for now.
But it seems to be going rather well. USA now has the Rugby World Cup in 2033.
Okay. Wow, that's a long time away.
It's a long time away, but they only announced it earlier on this week, so they've announced quite a few of the next World Cups. But it's good to see that.
That's great.
It's hopefully going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
It's a great sport. It's very brutal, so
Yeah,
it's
Americans will like it.
It's American football without the shoulder pads.
Right, without the guards, all the protections. Just got to get the rules down and make sure you know what's going on the pitch.
Yeah,
and then
there's the offside rule, which I don't think many people actually understand.
even people who understand rugby.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's very difficult because there's many permutations about offside.
Honestly, offside in football, the soccer is.
I mean, there's a grey
It
area.
changes every year, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we handballs too. Like there's rules that
I mean, handball.
you would think are
You can get away with going up to the
sometimes
sleeve now, isn't it?
sometimes.
Yeah.
But like sometimes a ref, if your arm is like too high, but it hits up here.
If your arm's out here, right, that was actually a good segue into the game from earlier on this week, where I think it was Brendan who got.
Yeah.
I mean, that was when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it didn't look that bad, but then you saw it and his arm was out, and it was
I
just
haven't seen it back, and obviously they went to VAR and they called the PK. So
But the one thing I was annoyed with that New York is the amount of times they took corners down that end, not in the corner.
really,
So the amount of times that the ball wasn't in there, and one of them was for the PK.
oh really?
Yeah. So the need.
I think something else happened like leading up to that, maybe before the corner, that there was like maybe a foul that wasn't called, or that was called but it wasn't a foul. I don't know.
Something.
I just remember the couple of plays leading up to that was like a lot of stuff happened that was annoying, but
Not that I'm getting down on New York City, but they don't have a proper stadium, so. That's
that is like I don't know when that's ever going to change. I hope for them as a fellow like MLS club it does change, because Yankee Stadium is really
it's not the City Field. I think it's the other one.
We were supposed to play in City Field this year.
Okay. Until it got moved, wasn't it?
Moved, and now it's at Red Bull Arena, right? So it's just it's just a shame for them, and it's maybe not the best look as the league to have your champion
not playing in a
playing in, you know, having a stadium, but it's not really their stadium, and on TV it always looks, you know.
Yeah. We know I was speaking to the guy who runs the UK NYCFC accounts, the fan account anyway, and he was speaking to some of the support groups who spoke to the owners, and the big reason why they don't have their own stadium at the moment is the red tape in New York.
Yeah, no, I mean...
And there's the lack of room.
That's the thing, is that I can only imagine how difficult it is to find a location, get the red tape all, you know, cut, if you will, and then fund it, obviously, because I'm sure in New York, like,
it's going to cost so much.
There's going to be a lot, you know, it's a big task, for sure.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but it's also been, you know, what, 10, no, not 10
they're 2015 they joined, so 7 years now. Nearly 10.
Yeah, a while. Obviously, we're in the same boat, right? The red tape in DC, we had so many projects that were going to happen and then fell through. You know, as a fan, hearing that we were going to get a stadium soon was like, oh, it's coming. But it's like, well, when's it coming? What's happening?
Did you have that little bit of, when you heard that we were getting a stadium, you just like, I'll believe it when I see it?
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was an intern, actually, my very first year with the club is when we announced, not Audi Field, but the new stadium in this on this plot of land, this project.
Okay.
And we'd already been through, like I said, 2, maybe 3 other ones that were like kind of serious. One was very serious and just fell through at the last minute. So anyway, it was a very exciting time at the club because, you know, kind of like Miami is feeling right now with their approval process. Obviously, that's the very baby first step, right?
Yes.
And then it takes a lot more to actually get it built and get it running. But
there
was a lot of hope. But then, the mayor changed. And then, this vote. And then, the deal has to change. So obviously, it took a long time. It took 5 years. 2013 is when we announced it for the first time.
Flipping heck.
So 2013 2018 when it got built. Or when it got finished, I guess it broke ground.
When we opened,
but obviously, you can only imagine how excited everybody was when we finally did, you know, obviously break ground, but then open the stadium. And so I feel for New York City. I just wish, not only for them, but for the league, for people who go to Yankee Stadium.
But we've got a cracking stadium out there.
No, it's unbelievable. Honestly, every time I go up the stairs on a match day, from the tunnel to the field, I'm kind of like in awe of how lucky we are, and you know, just comparing where we came from, and I will always love RFK because I grew up going to games there and had a lot of good memories. Even as a staff member, we were very successful playing there, and I miss the atmosphere and I miss everything about it. But it was certainly time for a change and time for an upgrade. So I'm you know, it's. I mean, you know, look, it's.
I mean, we're on a tripod, so I would turn around, but we'd probably lose the position that we're in now. But we've got the stadium just out there, and it is just, for me. I mean, yes, I've only been to a game twice now, but I've sat in the supporter section. I've sat down the opposite end, and I know so many people who sit around the stadium, and there's just not a bad seat in the house.
Not at all. Yeah, I mean, you know,
the angles are great.
Due to the land and how we had to build it, but because of that, the stands are steep, and you
had to be creative to get it
for sure.
The way it is. So, I absolutely love it. I think it's such a lovely stadium. I love the fact that you can simply walk around.
Yeah.
I mean, growing up in Middlesbrough in the northeast and going to the Riverside Stadium over there, you were kind of segregated into the stand. So you can just mill around.
It's still like that? Because have they changed it?
I don't know. To be honest, since I moved to the southwest of England, I've actually been to more games here than I have in England. Because, to be fair, in England,
what's the closest team you have?
Cheltenham Town.
Okay.
Who are in. I keep forgetting that they're in either League One or League Two.
Okay.
And then the biggest team, it's a toss-up between Birmingham City or Bristol City.
Okay.
I kind of live right in the middle of those two.
Okay.
But the cost of going to the games is so expensive.
I'm sure.
I mean, when you compare it to coming to here, this is so much cheaper.
Man, that's interesting. How much would like a regular ticket at Birmingham be? Who are not even...
They're in the championship,
right?
Yeah. So off the top of my head, I think it's about, for the cheapest one, it's about £55-60.
Wow.
For the cheapest.
Maybe like $70?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's expensive.
for a team who aren't doing that particularly well.
Right, yeah.
And the closest one, which is Cheltenham Town, it always baffled me. So I used to be season ticket holder at Middlesbrough, which used to cost back in the day, so this is going back like mid 2000s to almost 2010. It used to be about £350 to £400. So what's that? About $450, $500.
Sure, yeah.
Which is pretty good.
It's not bad for a season ticket.
For a season ticket in the Premier League.
Were they in the Premier League? Okay, yeah.
It's a very, very good price. Yeah, for Cheltenham Town, when in League Two at the time, it was the same price.
It was what?
It's the same price. It's just like, okay, so I can pay.
So I should just go
to the Premier League and watch good football,
right?
Or watch, yeah. So yeah, it's just far too expensive over in the UK.
That's a shame.
But then saying that, the cost of jerseys, I have to remember to say jerseys, it's quite expensive over here compared to what it is in the UK, because it costs about £55-60 here in the UK.
Okay.
And I mean, I had the this year's jersey sent over, and that cost me about £200.
Wow.
I mean, I got DC UK on the back of it as well, and it's the match. It's
authentic.
Yeah. Which is it's such a lovely shirt.
It is nice.
It is.
I just like the little trim of red and everything that's on it.
And just that subtle hint of the stripes down the middle.
Yeah.
You've got to really look at it to notice it, but
For sure.
It's a nice subtle hint.
I have to say, I liked the red shorts. I liked last year's.
We should have kept the shorts.
I obviously we didn't do that well the last 2 years, so I wanted to kind of get rid of them, but it was just so different and so new for us, or at least like we'd had it before. Right?
It was a callback to the early to the 96, 97,
maybe?
Yeah.
Or maybe 96, yeah, also. But obviously, didn't have the best years in those kids.
But can you put it down to the kids?
You cannot.
You cannot put it down to the kids.
For sure, it's not the shorts' fault, but you're always going to associate as like a athlete.
It's an omen, isn't it?
Yeah, everybody's so superstitious about little things like that make no sense. But
it's it's just one of those things. I mean, I loved last year's kit. I love the marble kit.
Yeah, marble kit's great.
That's really, really nice. Again, it was just one of those which has got that subtle design to it.
I wish I had a little more, but I do.
Well, a little bit bolder.
A little more blue, a little more marble. They're beautiful and I love them.
Yeah.
But I think in general, MLS kits could do more. So I wish that was.
Yeah. And I think that's because, for me, that's down to the fact that there's only one manufacturer.
Sure.
The fact that it's Adidas, and they generally will have the same designs as what they use for around the world.
For sure.
But then you look at like the Portland Timbers kit, which is it's quite divisive when you look on social media. It's a lot of people love it, and the design is great. I'm a big fan of it.
My first reaction was I love it. I think it's great.
But there's a lot of fans out there who really don't like it.
Interesting. Okay.
And then you had Philly Union's kit last year, the Lightning, the blue and yellow one, which I thought was quite nice.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
But we need
do a little bit more, something different.
Yeah, we need the cherry blossom.
Yeah.
That's what we need, and it would be nice.
I hope we get to see it soon.
Yeah.
I hope we get to see it soon.
It would be lovely.
There's been a lot of rumors, obviously.
Yes. Yeah, there has.
So I hope it turns out well.
Yes, there's. I think that Pablo had released some concepts.
Some like mock-ups.
Yeah, and they do look nice.
It's interesting how much those things change, though.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because I saw one for this kit, I saw one for the marble kit.
Yeah.
You just like little things or big things, but like there's always like a massive change.
Yeah.
From like what's going to be leaked or released or even like sent out to the clubs, and then you get the kit and it's like, wait,
that's not what it looked like in the pictures.
That was gonna play, but okay, no problem. This is great.
So, what's been your favourite kit over the years then, out of DC's? If you had to put it down to one, obviously we had the Cat in the Hat, and
it's hard for me to like picture it, just point blank. At RFK.
Yeah.
Small tangent. At our training facility. We had a whole wall of kits every year.
Yeah.
96 to I think 2016 was the last one we did.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see them all because every day you walk by and you're like, that's a cool one. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the classic, 3 stripes across the middle.
Yep.
Honestly, even the 2007 kit, I think was one of like the first years that I went to like a lot of games.
Yeah.
And we won the Supporter Shield that year, and I think it also had like 3 stripes across the middle.
I think that is the one where it had like the sort of curved white stripe down the sides of it. Yeah.
Sierra Mist might have been our, or was that earlier? Anyway, that's.
I was going to say that's probably I think it would have been before VW, wouldn't it?
VW was on the front.
Oh, was it the Sierra Mist on the?
I think Sierra Mist was on the
back. Because didn't we have one where Sierra Mist was on the front as well? Maybe. 1 year.
We're gonna have to do some research on that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah, I'm sure we had one that was Sierra Mist on the front. I might be making it up, but I'm sure we did. Yeah, that's gonna have to be a Google search later.
Our away kit from 2015, I think, 2014, 15, or 15, 16. I can't remember which years it was, but it was white, had some red trim and a red collar.
Yes.
Which I thought was great.
I think I've got that one.
Different and new. I have it too.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it might have been earlier. It might have been 2013. Because we had it. With
it was, because I think when I got it, I had a cheeky eBay bid on it.
Okay.
I think it cost me like £10.
Wow.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
And it is. Sorry?
Anybody on the back?
No, it was just a plain jet, and it was the proper authentic one as well. Right. So I was just like
the stars and everything.
It's like
that's good.
Get that. And I think I sent it to Sam, and he was like, I think it was like 2012 or 2013 version. I was like, yes.
Yeah, 2012. Yeah, that's what it was, because I remember. No, what am I thinking? When we played made that kind of run in the playoffs in 2012.
Yeah.
Lost to Houston eventually, but anyway, we wore that kit when.
Yeah, we won't mention that Houston defeat. That came up on the last podcast.
Did it? Oh no.
Yeah, because the last one that we done was as of recording anyway, was the game before the game against Houston Dynamo.
Okay.
And
so
it was mentioned. Yes, it was mentioned about that defeat. I mean, it was Daniel was saying that is at RFK. I think it was one of the worst games he's seen at RFK. It was just for the emotion and things like that.
We were
just
missing a couple guys too.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, especially like beating Red Bull.
Yeah.
And kind of not expecting to, but getting past that game with the snow and the PK stop and Bill, all the things that happened.
So good
to
memories.
Then, everybody had such a high, and then you get to the Houston game, and it was like, oh man.
I mean, to be honest, when you've got that such a high, how do you take that further? Yeah. And it's just like something's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's usually the case. But I remember for me the most sort of roller coaster ride of emotions I've had in a playoff game was against Columbus Crew here.
Oh man,
that was insane because obviously you had De Leon who scored that insane volley.
Yeah,
and I think I was up until like 3 o'clock in the morning watching the penalties, and I'm just like, I need to stay awake. And I'm just like, oh my word. And I think it's the first time that I've actually heard all the stands actually get involved in the singing and bringing the atmosphere, because it just watching from the UK.
That was
it.
I don't know if we talked about it the last time I was on the pod, but that is probably like my favorite game I've ever been a part of, seen, went to, because like you say, the atmosphere was unbelievable. And when I'm getting like goosebumps again, like thinking about it. When Nick hit that volley and just like the roof, if we had roofs, like
we're not mentioning the roofs. I've been told not to mention the roof.
No, the roof that we do have
yes.
just exploded, and it was unbelievable. It was such a shame for so many reasons that we didn't go through. Obviously PK is kind of a toss
and Zach Stefan, who is just a master at saving penalties.
For sure. I mean,
not now, maybe.
He did fine. Our guys, I think, could have done a lot better. And Wayne missed, Lucho missed.
The two guys who'd expect to score there.
For sure. And that was Nick's last game with DC United, unfortunately. So
before we move to our opponents this weekend.
Before he what?
Move to our opponents this weekend, Toronto.
Yeah. And then he scored against us in the next year. So you had a couple.
Yeah, don't mention that one either. That was
a tough game.
I mean, that was a massive roller coaster of emotions, wasn't it?
We were out of it. Had didn't think we were going to get through. TT scores an unbelievable 90 whatever minutes.
Yep.
Again, it's like, oh, you're such a high, you think this is going to
Yep.
be amazing, and then it's like, oh no.
Okay, we just didn't turn up in extra time.
Man, it was tough.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
And what sucked most for me personally about that game, I was in one of the suites, and the suites are not really separated like they are here.
Okay.
The main stands are kind of like it'd be like if we were here in a suite and there was a stand like right outside of it.
Oh wow!
So people are like very close to the public are very close to your seats. And they have really good fans in Toronto. I will say that in Canada, across the 3 Canadian teams, Montreal, Vancouver, it's like a European level of like passion and care for not only the teams but football in general. So I love playing in those places I love going to our games in those places because it's such a good atmosphere and always a good crowd. Anyway, they were like crushing us because that was like the staff suite,
Oh no!
And I was trying to say, oh, you're not going to win. Like we have more MLS Cups than you, but it's like, why are you bantering when you just got crushed 5-1 or 4-1 or whatever it was?
5. It was 5. Yes.
So anyway, that was a tough night.
It was, yeah.
Tough flight home.
But at least it's not as long as Vancouver because we've talked about the Vancouver flight, which
Vancouver played Toronto recently, so we watched film on them, and I was thinking about that. Man, I really miss going to Vancouver. Like I want to go back to Vancouver. Once we're there, it's great. Yeah. Once we're in Vancouver, it's unbelievable. It's a great city.
But now I think from what I've read online, it's a lot more charter flights now.
Yeah, charters are.
Is it every away game that is chartered now?
Yeah, I don't know if this is like public knowledge, but I'll say it anyway. Charters are like confirmed for us through the rest of the year, which is nice.
Oh, fantastic!
MLS decided that health and safety, in that sense, was important enough to continue it through the year. So obviously, we're all very happy about it. It's I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I hope that it continues.
It feels like it should.
I think so. I think it's a good investment for the clubs and the owners to do that. If that happens, we'll see. But it's been very successful so far. They've made a good decision to keep going with it. Yeah, it just makes the league better. Makes everything better.
I'd imagine attracting players to the clubs over here, it'll just make things a little bit easier. Yeah. Rather than going, when you go to an away game, you're going to get on the flight with everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, even if that was the case, it wouldn't be the end of the world. You know what I mean? But it's just coming home right after the game, getting the rest that you can like right away. Yeah. Not having to do connections like you would in Toronto. Like we were lucky in BC that we have 3 airports that we can choose from. We can fly to anywhere. Yeah. Except for Vancouver. Yep. But there's other teams like Columbus, for example, has a teeny tiny airport. Yeah. And has to connect to almost every trip that they make, or like at least like multiple trips, right? So it makes everything more complicated. Yeah. And these days, with COVID still a thing, obviously, the delays, the crew, it affects charters too, but it affects commercial flights even more. Yeah. So anyway, all that to say is that yes, confirmed for the year. So
that's good.
It's good news for us. Good news to the league.
Yeah, absolutely. But we are coming to a time where it's we're getting to the international break and we're going to have that little bit of downtime where there's not going to be many games, so I can have a lot of rest in the evening now.
There you go. Yeah,
and that's the main thing. That's what I want, my sleep. I mean, I love staying up and watching the games in an evening and being able to watch Dave and Devon do the commentary, and it's awesome to be able to listen to those guys. I mean, I don't know whether I should, but when I know you're supposed to be only within a certain radius of the stadium, but in spirit I am.
Of course.
So.
No, they're great guys, and they've been around the club now for, obviously Dave's been around for a long time. Devin as a player, now as a commentator, he's awesome. He's a great guy and very knowledgeable. And I never get to listen to them because
you're always down there. Yeah.
But
to be fair, I know where I'd rather be.
For sure.
Yeah, I'd rather be down on the bench.
Let's put it that way. I want to be down there, right?
I'd love to see what it's like down on the bench at some point. It would be insane to see actually what goes on.
Yeah, even if you just sit on the, in that we have sections right next to the benches, our field level seats, and even just sitting right there, you can hear everything. You can, obviously sometimes it gets heated, and there's some all the time with the refs. There's always some discussions. Sometimes between the benches, either players or staff, coaches. Right? Yeah. We've had certainly some. I wouldn't tell you altercations, but definitely words shared between.
Definitely in the Ben Olsen era. There was a few times where
Well, Ben always loved to. I feel bad for the refs because he loved to talk to the refs, loved to talk to the AR, loved to talk to the fourth, loved to talk, everybody. Anybody who would listen, he would yell at or talk to, and that's just kind of how he is.
Yeah.
Hernan was no different. Chad's a little more reserved.
It just feel like you see him on the sideline and he's just kind of just standing there, just looking, and he's like, okay, so he's the quiet kind of coach.
For sure. I mean, he certainly gets his point across when he needs to, but
yes. I mean, you see the clips come out on socials and they have to bleep out the words.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
As sometimes you need that, Sometimes you need a little motivation.
Exactly. But
no, it's. I never really understood it when I didn't travel as on the staff, and then when I started to travel every game and started to sit down there, it's just two different experiences.
Yeah.
You really feel a win more, and you really feel a loss more than if you're just whatever.
Yeah.
Sitting in the stands or even in the locker room. Obviously on TV it's way different, but just like sitting there in that moment, you're talking to the players, they're coming off, new guys are coming on, you're trying to motivate them to score or defend the goal. It's just there's a lot of emotions, and it's I'm not running around, but it's certainly taxing on me because you put so much into it. Not personally, obviously care so much and want to win so bad. Yeah. There's only so much I can do though, so I have to just put all that energy emotionally into it.
Yeah.
When it doesn't work out, it sucks.
Yeah. The mental drain.
Yeah, for sure. You really need to take the rest and take a day off, and especially after a trip. Like if I said. In Miami, obviously, we got a draw.
I can imagine.
Late.
What was the temperature like down there? Because I'd imagine that was quite hot.
It was hot during the day. It was very similar to this. It was hot and humid during the day. Luckily, we played at 8, so cooled down. It was actually nice.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we had a delay. We were delayed.
Oh, yes, there was the weather delay. Sorry, I remember.
So it was actually quite cool. It was nice when it finally stopped raining.
Because I remember I was staying up to watch it again. When I got 25 minutes and I was, after the weather delay, I was like,
I'm done the same thing.
Yeah, I was just like, just sat there in my chair, I'm like, just falling asleep. Like, yeah, okay, I'll go to bed.
Those are the most frustrating moments because I'm kind of the point of contact between Miami and then the refs who are making decisions. I'd go outside the locker room, try to get an update, and every time I come back inside, everybody's, are we playing? And I'd have to write a new time on the board down. Oof. Every 20 minutes, I was like, oh no, another delay.
Another delay, yeah.
I can only imagine as a player kind of what that feels like. You do the warm-up.
Because you're going to be mentally prepared, aren't you?
You're Chad doing the meeting, trying to hype them up, trying to get them ready to go, and all of a sudden, oh no, wait, we're going to wait 30 minutes. And then it's like, oh, another 20 minutes, another 20 minutes.
Yeah. I think it was like that when we played Toronto at the MLS's back tournament where they actually delayed it by a full day.
I can't.
Oh dear.
I can't discuss that. There's a lot of players who weren't there on this team.
Yes.
For that moment, there's a handful of guys that are around.
Yeah.
Actually, not that many.
It has been quite a big turnover in the squad, hasn't it?
I think about it, it's not that many. But anyway, I would never forget that.
Yeah.
How they, what happened in that moment.
Yeah.
As a player, if I was a player, I certainly don't now. I know it's really nobody's fault that I'm dealing with, but it's that was tough.
Was that good experience for you?
It was just, man.
Oh, I say good experience. Was that just experience?
It was just an experience.
Yeah,
it was an experience.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, you're in the bubble, so that's especially at the time, so surreal to be there.
Yeah.
And be playing soccer in the middle of a actual pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Nobody knew what was happening. Nobody knew anything really, how it spread, whatever. There's so many unknowns that we're just trying to play soccer and trying to do our jobs, and I can understand to a certain extent what they're going through and what their decisions they were making, but in the moment when you want to play and want to win a game.
Yeah.
What a result, though, by the way. What a goal.
Yeah.
From Pipa.
That was. The lovely dink. That little chip.
Yep.
Some sauce on that with those chips there.
Speaking of that Columbus game, Pipa scored both goals in that game. And then scored his PK, so he always gave me a hard time about it. Man, he even tells me, you guys should have won. You guys had a great team, and then... Okay, we're not going to talk about that.
No, not at all. Not at all. Let's talk briefly about the game this weekend. I mean, as of recording, we're on. Is it Friday today?
It's Friday.
It is Friday. I'm because obviously the flights, and I'm just a little bit all over the place. It is tomorrow that we're going. How do you see it going down?
I think
Now, bear in mind,
I don't know.
they've only kept one clean sheet in the last 20 odds, so we're going to score goals.
I know we're going to create chances, and
Yeah.
I know that. That's what I know. I know we're going to create chances.
Yeah.
What I think is really important is our first 10 minutes. The first 10 minutes. Don't give up any goals. Which unfortunately, we've had a couple of games where we give up a goal early, and then we're like, man, we got to come back, and we have done that. But you don't want to be in that situation, right? So, and we got to, defend set pieces a little better because
there's been a few this year which we could have done better with, but
And obviously, they're working really hard and trying to fix those problems to make it better for the next game. So if we do those two things well, have a good start and keep a 0 on set pieces, then
I would love a repeat of last year.
For sure.
I'm here, so I'd love to see some goals.
For sure, yeah. We're going to score a goal for you. I promise. I promise we're going to score a goal for you.
I'd love to. I've been so impressed with Taxi so far this year. He's been fantastic, and he's been in obviously quite a few Team of the Weeks already.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic to see. So I'm hoping to see a good performance from him. I'd love to see Sophie play as well.
Yeah,
I've been very impressed with him, especially coming from the draft.
For sure, me too. He's got a really good head on his shoulders, but also very good on the ball, very good passing.
Yeah.
I don't know how he gets out of certain situations, how he turns and kind of makes a guy, and then all of a sudden he's in the space. But
it's like he's got eyes on the back of his head.
For sure. Yeah.
It's crazy how quickly he can move, and then he spots someone at the other side of the pitch, and they go poof.
He's very good in the middle. Yeah, hopefully he can obviously play those balls to Brad and to Julian or whoever's out there on the wings.
Yeah.
And getting those crosses in, and whoever's playing up top needs to put it away.
Exactly.
So we're definitely going to create chances. I just need to get those forwards and attack the net.
Just put them in the back of the net.
Just get in there. It's so easy, right?
Yeah.
Just easy.
Just get it on target.
But Toronto's, even though they're below us in the standings, they are a good team and have good players.
Yeah.
And you always have to be careful with those kind of teams because, again, it beat us already this year, right? So,
yeah. They're a team who are currently on a quite bad run of form, which just means we need to be wary of complacency.
Exactly.
So
not that we're in a good run of form, but you have to be wary of that because they have talent. They're not there's other teams that oh no, this team's not good and doesn't really have any talent, so or it doesn't have as much as they probably should, so it's going to be fine. Yeah. But no, this is a real team, so
hopefully we'll get those 3 points tomorrow.
For sure, I hope so.
Yes, indeed. Well, I'm going to wrap things up there. Yeah. Great to actually meet you in person.
You as well.
Fantastic to have you back on the show. Hope I'll try not to have it as long next time between the episodes.
But happy to be back and can't wait to get a win tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Cheers, man. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching that as much as I had actually being there in person and interviewing Rory. Like I said, it was such an honour to be able to go out and meet him in person and do this interview. So if you haven't listened to the live stream that we're doing at the Screaming Eagles tailgate yet, go and listen to that. It's super fun. It's been brilliant. But until next time, Farmers United.